Have you ever wondered how it feels to live in fear, knowing a killer walks among you, yet no one knows his face? In one small town, that fear became a part of daily life. People locked their doors early. Strangers looked suspicious, and every shadow seemed to hide danger. This is not just another crime story. It's a chilling case of a murderer who struck without warning, and to this day, no one has seen his face. Families were left broken, the police were left searching, and the community was left living in terror. Stay with me until the end of this story, because what you'll discover is not just about the crime itself, but the shocking way fear can take over an entire town. By the final moment, you'll see it started on a cold night in late autumn. The streets were quiet, and most families were already inside their homes. But for one young woman, that night would be her last. She never made it back. The police found her body the next morning, lying just a few blocks from her house. There were no witnesses, no sounds of struggle, and no clear trace of the killer. The crime was clean, silent, and terrifying. News spread fast. Neighbors whispered in shock. Parents held their children closer. The idea that someone could kill without leaving a clue shook the town to its core. Everyone asked the same question: who could do this, and how close were they to the rest of us? Why this case still haunts people, even decades later. After the first killing, life in the town was never the same. People stopped walking alone at night. Shops closed earlier than usual. Even children were warned not to play outside after sunset. The town felt haunted, not by ghosts, but by the presence of someone real, someone dangerous, hiding in plain sight. Every stranger became a suspect. A knock on the door after dark could send shivers down a spine. Families checked their windows twice before going to bed. Fear was no longer just an emotion, it was a way of life. What made it worse was the silence of the killer. No letter, no clue, no face, just the chilling knowledge that he was still out there, watching, waiting, and ready to strike again. The police launched a full investigation. Officers went door to door, asking questions, searching for answers. They checked every alley, every corner, every story that neighbors could remember. But nothing pointed to the killer. There were no fingerprints, no weapon left behind, not even a witness who saw a shadow or heard a scream. The case felt like chasing smoke. Every lead disappeared before it could be caught. Detectives worked long nights, trying to connect the few pieces they had. They believed the killer knew the town well. He moved like someone familiar with every street, every blind spot, every place where he could vanish without being seen. That thought only made the community more afraid, because if the killer knew the town, it meant the killer could be one of them. Just when the town began to hope it was a one-time horror, the killer struck again. This time, it was a middle-aged man walking home after work. He was found in almost the same way, lifeless, no struggle, no clue left behind. The second killing sent shockwaves through the community. It proved the first murder was not random. It proved there was a pattern, and worse, it proved the killer was still watching. Panic spread like wildfire. People stopped trusting their neighbors. Friends looked at each other with suspicion. The streets emptied after dark, and the silence of the nights grew heavier, almost suffocating. And once again, the police were left with nothing. No face, no trace, only the chilling truth. A murderer was living among them, hiding in plain sight. The pressure on the police grew heavier with each passing day. Reporters demanded answers. Families wanted justice. The community wanted safety. But the investigation kept circling back to the same place. Nowhere. Weeks turned into months. Patrol cars roamed the streets at night, but the killer stayed silent. Detectives interviewed dozens of suspects, but none could be tied to the crimes. Every shred of evidence was too small, too weak, or led to a dead end. Soon, fear turned into anger. People began to lose faith in the authorities. Some whispered that the killer was too smart for the police. Others believed he was being protected by someone inside the town. And then, just as suddenly as the murders began, they stopped. No arrests, no confessions, no answers. The case slipped into cold files, but the memory never left. The town remained scarred, living with the haunting truth. His face was never seen, and justice was never found. To this day, the case remains unsolved. No name, no face, no justice, just memories of nights filled with fear and streets that once felt safe but no longer did. The faceless killer vanished, but his shadow still lingers in the minds of those who lived through it. The story is more than a mystery. It's a warning. Evil does not always come with a mask or a clear face. Sometimes it hides among us, blending in, waiting for the right moment to strike. That is why this case still matters. It reminds us to stay aware, to protect our communities, and to never forget the lives that were lost. So what do you think? Was the killer someone local, walking the same streets as his victims? Or was he an outsider who slipped in and out, unseen? Share your thoughts below. And remember, this isn't just a story. It's a truth that still has no ending.